Good day, learners. My name is Albert Omori Usazewaru. I'm the e-tutor that will be taking you on Accounting 111. We will be looking at study session 1, which is Nature of Accounting. Accounting as a discipline involves language of business, and in language of business, we can talk about what it means. It simply means identification, observation, measuring, and interpreting economic information to users. Now we'll be looking at the learning outcomes. At the end of this study session, you will be able to define and use all the keys in printed board. You'll be able to discuss the nature of accounting. You'll be able to explain the development of accounting as a discipline. You'll be able to describe accounting information and its users. By way of introduction, accounting has been defined as an organized body of information and also a language of business that can aid its users in making informed decisions. Therefore, accounting has branches like financial accounting, management accounting, taxation, auditing. The nature of accounting. We'll be looking at financial accounting in this study session. Financial accounting can be described as the system of recording, summarizing, analyzing of a business financial transaction so as to aid informed decision making by the users of that information. Different people have defined accounting according to their own understanding. AICPA defined accounting as the measuring, identification, measuring, summarizing, and interpreting accounting information to its users. By this definition, we are able to infer that accounting is a term that is used to describe business language. So it is discovered that accounting is a universal language to both individual and corporate organization alike. So this takes us to a question of who performs this duty of accounting, which is an accountant. Who is actually an accountant? Accountant is one who observes economic activity, record the observation in accounting language in the prescribed book, analyze his record, interpret his analysis, and prepare report to all users of accounting information. In the process of doing this job, there are authority in form of professional accounting bodies that have recognized that accountant work is very enormous and it requires a helper in form of a bookkeeper that will help him carry out the initial job of observing the economic activity and recording them into the appropriate book of account. Now, this takes us to another aspect of this study session, which is development of accounting as a discipline. Now, the modern day accounting actually started from somewhere. Prior to the era of bookkeeping, the businesses organization were recording their transaction on a single entry basis. But as they began to grow, became very wealthy, they now see the need to advance their record, which bet the era of Luca Pacioli, where he published a book called Summa di Arithmetica, Geometria, and Et Proportionalita, which means everything about arithmetic, geometry, and proportion. And also give him the accolade of father of accounting, because at that point, businesses were already craving to have a higher way of recording their transaction. The book was basically an algebra test devoted to expanding principle of double entry principle. When we're talking about double entry principle, it's all about recording a transaction in at least two books. One giving, which is the debit, and the other one receiving, which is the credit. And again, we'll be looking at development of accounting education in Nigeria. There have been arguments on how best to train accountants in Nigeria and other Commonwealth countries to embrace between system of training. In the past, people believed that accountancy profession should not be studied in the university. Rather, people should be trained via articleship, otherwise known as apprenticeship, which means that people will go for understudy for those who have acquired the skill, so that they can learn it over a several period before they can climb to the expected position in future. It is from this background that professional accounting bodies such as Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, Association of Chartered Accountants, and others were established so as to be a body that will train accountants. Though they did not undermine the fact that accountants should be trained via articleship, they supported it. So in that case, they were able to introduce a system where a woman accountant will undergo articleship before they are allowed to take professional exams. Now, training of accountants in Nigeria. Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, was actually established via an Act of Parliament in October 1965. It's one of the professional accounting training body in Nigeria, and it is saddled with the responsibility of training accountants. Another body in Nigeria that was also given the responsibility to train accountants was established in 1979, where it became chartered or given legal backing by Decree number 76 of 1993, which has its headquarters in Jos. Now, accounting, is it a science or an art? There have been arguments that accounting is a pure science, while some are arguing that accounting is a pure art. From the background of accounting, we infer that accounting is a midway between a science and art. Now, it is a science because it makes use of scientific techniques and approach in analyzing its reports that will enable the users to make informed judgment. And it's an art because it involves human thinking, it involves human and universe and environment. So, from that background, we conclude that accounting is neither a science nor an art. Accounting seems to partake some characteristics of either science or art without belonging exclusively to either one. That accounting is a body of organized knowledge is without question. That it employs systematic procedure to obtain identifiable results. Now we move on to the next aspect, analyzing the users of accounting information and their needs. Now, who are the users of accounting information? Why are accountants involved in accounting activities? There are people who require this information. One of them is shareholder, management, trade payables, loan payables, employees, potential investors, the public, as well as the government. Now, the shareholder require accounting information because they need to know whether there is a return on their investment. Management require accounting information. The managers are those who are in charge of day-to-day running of the business. They require the information to know whether what they are being asked to oversee is making profit or loss. Then trade payables are those suppliers who give who render services or provide goods on credit to the business organization. They have to know whether the business is well equipped enough to pay them their money when due. The same thing with loan creditors. Loan creditors are also required to get access to accounting information because if the business approach them for loan or for any credit, they want to know whether the business can actually pay or repay the money borrowed. Employee, on the other hand, also they are the workers in the business firm. They also need to get accurate information with regard to accounting organization, whether they can negotiate or renegotiate their wage in a higher dimension. Potential investors as well. These are people who would have loved to be a member of such business organization, and as such, they want to also know whether the business is making profit so that they can be a part of the business. The public also will want to have access to accounting information so as to also negotiate welfare service such as infrastructures. The same thing with government. Government want to know whether a business is doing well or not so that they can know the kind of an amount of tax with which they can pay. The next subsection we have to look at is quality of accounting information. And for accounting information to carry out or to give birth to its aim or its purpose, it must be relevant, it must be timely, it must be reliable, it must be verifiable, it must possess predictive value. Now, for accounting information to be relevant, the preparer and users of information must see that information help making use, or rather good. It must be good. It must have good use or value to them that is relevant. And for it to be timely, or rather for the users of accounting information to say this accounting information is have quality, is that they will get it as at when it's needed. Not that the information or the report is coming when it's no longer needed. It must be reliable, and it must be capable of helping or making them to make informed decision without being without being discouraged. Verifiable. When information that can be having objective evidence, it means it's verifiable. There must be evidence backing it up. Predictive values should be able to forecast the future for a would-be investor. Again, this brings us to the next subsection, limitations of financial accounting. Accounting information published once a year and mainly at the end of the financial year, it means that the users of accounting information must have to wait until that year has come, which, on the other hand, can limit their decision making. Then, the statutory requirement for financial statement is historical in nature. So once about somebody want to make a real-time decision, to be very difficult. Then the next limitation is monetary value. A monetary value must have to be placed on items before it can be recorded. But again, not all information, not all issues that can go with monetary value. So this can also pose a limitation and others. Now, in summary, we have looked at this study session 1. We have learned that accounting is a language of business. It's the system of recording, summarizing, and analyzing business organization, financial transaction. Different people also have defined accounting according to the way they understand the term. Therefore, accounting is the process of identifying, measuring, and communication economic information to predict informed judgment and decision by the users of accounting information. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and ANA are the two main bodies, professional bodies that train accountants in Nigeria. Many individual and corporate bodies utilize accounting information to enable them make informed decisions, such as shareholders, management, employees, public, the loan creditors, trade payables, and others. Individual and corporate body require accounting information to make wise decisions on financial matter affecting them. Good accounting information, again, must possess certain characteristics. It must be relevant. It must be timely. It must be reliable. It must be capable of having a predictive value and as well as verifiable. Though accounting as a discipline don't go without some limitation. Some of them are the users have to wait until his report is prepared because you usually have a timeline of with which the report can be released and others. Having gone through this study session, it is without no self-assessment questions. Self-assessment question for this study session 1. Now that you have completed this study session, you can assess how well you have achieved each learning outcome by answering this question. Write your answer in your study diary and discuss them with your tutor or facilitator at the next study support meeting. You can check your answer with a note on the self-assessment questions at the end of this module. So, study question 1. Explain the term accounting, the way you understand it, and identify the characteristics of an accountant. Study question 2. Identify various institutions involved in training professional accountants in Nigeria. Let's study question 3. State any 6 users of accounting information that you know and why they need the information. Identify the limitation of accounting information. Thank you.